Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What's the best TV series of all time? If we're counting single-season miniseries, Band of Brothers. We salute the rank, not the men. One day my grandson said to me, "Grandpa, were you a hero in the war?" And I said to him, "No, I'm not a hero, but I have served in a company full of them." Major Dick Winters. Jesse, we need to cook. It's breakin' time. My favorite moment was when Walter told Saul, "I've finally broken bad, so I better call Saul." The Wire. She it TTTTT. She I TTTTTTTTT. Twilight Zone. Punched way above its weight. My pick, for sure. What other shows here will have a significant cultural impact 60 years after airing? The Twilight Zone paved the way for so many modern artists, shows, and movies. Love, Death, and Robots, Black Mirror, and other anthology shows all have the Twilight Zone in their DNA. Jordan Peele, involved in the newest incarnation of the Twilight Zone BTW, was influenced by the show. Rod Serling was a visionary who never compromised the content of his show to bow to advertisers or cultural pressures. The show was ahead of its time and is still as poignant and entertaining today as when it came out. Serling said that he could tackle issues of racism, war and identity in an SF anthology that he could not do in a straight drama at the time. I have seen all of the episodes many times and I still get creeped out by the endings. Even when I know exactly what will happen. There are a couple that are too much for me, like the one with the boy who banishes people to the cornfields. And they have aged so well. That show tapped into our fears and psyche in a very dark way. Now I need to go watch some again. Chernobyl. Man, the absolute dread I felt watching that show was something else. They nailed the tone. In some scenes they actually toned the dread down for the show. Remember the divers who went into the water to drain the basement levels before the core melted through? In the show they get chest deep into the water. Dosimeters going crazy. And their lights failed, so they used some little hand crank lights to find their way. In real life they didn't have backup lights. They just knew the facility so well they felt their way through and did it all in the dark. Hard to imagine that courage. True Detective Season 1. Most people cite the aerial of the chase through the projects as the highlight of the season. But to me it was the farm raid. Russ is telling the story in the present, but you're seeing what really happened. And then you're like, whoa whoa whoa. He's lying about it. Both sequences were absolutely terrific in different ways. The race war in the projects was a masterclass at building tension. Ramping up the stakes until you felt like the roof was gonna blow off at any second. The farm raid was just ultra-intelligent and unique storytelling. Matthew McConaughey's recounting of the story in the present, while contradicting his own testimony in the past, is some of the smartest television writing I've ever seen. Greater than the scene where he recounts being under fire from Ledoux's AK to the investigative panel, before it cuts to him firing the AK in slow-mo. Just brilliant writing. Less than. And I just loves how he tells Woody Harrelson, "Fuck him. Good to see you commit to something," immediately afterward. Probably the nicest thing he ever said to Marty. Nova on PBS. It's been on the air forever, and as a kid it's where I got a lot of my early science education. I never missed that show. I just love that public broadcasting got some love from viewers like you. Thank you. Not the best TV series of all time, but the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development are up there with the best 3 seasons of any of the shows mentioned here. That show was so good and you can just watch it over and over. It's one of the rare shows that rewards rewatches because of the inside jokes you miss the first time around. Futurama. I refuse to elaborate. Edit. Thanks for the platinum, kind stranger. Edit. Thanks for the silver, kind stranger. Edit. Thanks for all the other awards, kind strangers. If you want rewatchability, that's the one. I do think the comeback seasons had some weak episodes though. Bone Eater. The one where they're all skeleton bodies. The Yeti. But overall the average quality is excellent. The writing is excellent. The Fox seasons are classic. The Comedy Central a hit or miss TBH. Not as many memorable episodes as the Fox ones. Kind of scared of the Hulu renewal. I felt like the CC seasons were very close to zombifying Futurama. The last thing I want to see is Futurama having awful episodes like most of The Simpsons. Years ago you would have seen Game of Thrones far more frequently in this thread. Alas, the ball was dropped hard in its last couple seasons. I will say, it is the best show I will never watch again. It's amazing how the flat finish ruined everything, huh? It's like an ice cream cone with amazing flavors that end up being filled with shit at the bottom. It's just not worth eating it at all. GOT's legacy will forever be the botched ending. Honestly incredibly sad given it was the series that made modern TV. The first 4 seasons are still some of the best TV I've ever watched. Avatar: The Last Airbender. As much as I love adult-oriented dramas where lives are destroyed, I respect how much effort it must have taken to make a compelling, airtight story with a happy, wholesome ending. Happy ending, yes. However, Appa's Lost Days was the most stressful stretch of TV I have ever experienced in my life. Tales of Bar Singh SA hits hard. The Sopranos. The Sopranos is the best TV show ever made. Not only because it still stands up after all these years, but it literally redefined TV as a medium. We wouldn't have many of these shows listed in this thread without it paving the way for high production value, character development driven dramas. You're not gonna believe this. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator. Rip Tony Sirico. His house looked like shit. Rest in peace, Tony Sirico, you fucking legend. Sign of the Horns light skin tone T. Yeah, hear what I said? Hey. During the last US presidential election I decided, instead of watching the breathless CNN coverage, to make meatball subs and watch The Sopranos. Best decision ever. You made the right choice. This thing of ours, the hustle never stops.